I thought NXT was great this week. It opened with the first match of the Breakout Tournament pitting Angel Garza, the former Garza Jr., against Joaquin Wilde, the former DJZ. They made mention on commentary that he almost died 2 years ago, and if you don't know that whole story, it's actually a pretty crazy story. So I will share it with you now, because I'm not sure how many people even are aware of how bad this really was. I knew that he got hurt in a match in Mexico. He ruptured his colon, which sounds awful enough as it is. But when you hear about the details of the injury, you see how easily he could have died. He told this story on Colt Cabana's podcast a couple of years ago. Every time you mention Colt Cabana's name, by the way, CM Punk files another lawsuit. And Vince McMahon adds 6 months to Luke Harper's contract, so you got to be careful. But what happened was he took a 450 splash in a match, a very hard 450 splash, full force. He finished the match. He knew right away something was wrong, but he finished the match, went to the back, knew something just wasn't right. You know, it's kind of like when you get the wind knocked out of you, only in his case, he really wasn't able to get his wind back, which sounds pretty scary. So finally, he goes to the hospital. This is after he's laying on the floor in the back for about an hour. Nobody is even checking up on him. He could lay there and die. Nobody would even know. So he goes to the hospital. They give him an IV. He starts to feel better. He goes back to his hotel. And all of a sudden, he starts pissing blood, and he passes out. So he's in an ambulance, going back to the hospital, more IVs. Again, he starts to feel better. He drives back to his hotel, and this time, there's still blood, but it is not coming from urinating, and I will just let you fill in the blanks on that yourself. This is not normal. So he passes out, ends up back in the hospital, and at the hospital, he says that the staff there demanded that he pay them $500 before they would even look at him. They're basically holding him for ransom, $500, or we're not even going to take a look at you. So he gives them his credit card. Finally, they do tests, and they find that he ruptured his colon, and he needs immediate surgery, or there's a possibility that he could die. You know, it's like you're bleeding internally. We have to cut you open and take out part of your colon and then stitch you back together. And oh, by the way, there's a chance that it may not work, and you may need a colostomy bag for the rest of your life. So I can only imagine what was going through this guy's head. He's a young guy. You know, he's a young guy, and I can only imagine what's going through his mind. Now, if that isn't bad enough, this guy's laying there dying in agony. He just was told that he may need a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. Literally being wheeled into surgery, and they demand another $2,000 on top of the $500 that he already paid them, or else they can't do the operation. And you know, I hear things like that, and it really makes me appreciate the hospital staff in Colombia when I screwed up my knee last year. Even though they did stitch me up with glass in my leg, at least they didn't hold me up for more money. Because they could have. I mean, they could have done anything they wanted to. I was in no position to fight back. So that kind of makes me look back actually a little more fondly on my experience, that it wasn't quite as bad as what he went through. As it turned out, this guy lost half the blood in his body and part of his colon, and he ended up in massive credit card debt, but at least he lived. At least he lived to tell the tale. At least he lived to come back and wrestle again. Now he's under contract with WWE, so his story has a happy ending. Not happy enough, I guess, since he lost here, but he and Garza, I thought, had a really fun match. Garza is going to be a star. He's going to be a star for them. He had these long pants on, and in the middle of the match, he just rips them off mid-match to a big pop. He hit Wilde with a top rope Spanish fly for a 2 count. It does make me sad to see a move like that used for a near fall, but what the hell are you going to do? Garza won with the, I guess this is going to be his finish going forward. It's a unique move. I don't know that I've seen this before. It's a double underhook butterfly stunner for the finish. So that was unique. And so he moves on to meet the winner of the match between Boa and ACH, now going by the name of Jordan Miles. Jordan Miles. You know, we had the Macho Man, the Ultimate Warrior, Axe and Smash, the Hitman, and Jordan Miles. I think I just hit on one of the many problems with this system that they have in place.